Hello, I'm Sarah Hubbard, and today I'm going to be talking about minimizing the negative impacts of airport construction. This is a pre-recorded presentation for the 21st International Symposium on Aviation Psychology. Airfield infrastructure is incredibly important to ensure the safety of airfield operations, and construction projects are necessary to ensure the integrity of the airfield. We need to make sure our runways and taxiways are in good condition in terms of the pavement, and we also need to make sure that our facilities meet current standards. Airfield construction projects are challenging because they are usually conducted while aeronautical operations at the airport continue. This introduces human factors considerations and operational challenges, and there are numerous stakeholders and many activities that are affected during these construction projects. To provide some idea of the scope of airport development and airport construction, let's look at NIPIAS, our National Plan for Integrated Airport Systems. NIPIAS is the framework for federal funding for airports and the improvements needed. Over $34 billion have been identified for airport projects from 2021 to 2025. This includes reconstruction projects, projects to bring facilities up to current standards, and projects to improve the safety and increase the capacity of our airfields. Here's an overview of today's presentation. First, I will provide a context for the topic based on literature related to airfield construction. I will present data related to airfield safety and discuss the human factors considerations, which provides a framework for mitigation measures to increase safety during airfield construction. FAA recognizes that there are potential safety challenges related to airfield construction and provides a very detailed advisory circular about operational safety considerations during construction. A key consideration is the development of a plan for safety during each phase of construction. These are called construction safety and phasing plans. Another important component is the use of checklists and daily inspections conducted by the airport ops personnel to ensure safety is maintained on the construction site in the adjacent airfield. Other topics include operational issues and standards for signs and barricades. There is limited information in scholarly publications related to construction safety at airports. There is some research related to the construction of the Denver International Airport, an enormous project and one of the biggest and most recently constructed new airports in the United States. There were almost 3,000 construction contracts and there were over 4,000 injuries and illnesses, which illustrates the magnitude of the risks to construction workers on a large airfield project. This doesn't capture all of the issues related to airfield construction, since this was a new airport site rather than construction at an active airport, which introduces additional challenges. Airfield construction can affect pilots, air traffic controllers, airport operations personnel, and airport tenants. Airfield construction can disrupt flight training and have a significant impact on emergency responders. There are many construction characteristics that impact how the construction project affects operations at the airport, such as the number of personnel, the kinds of equipment and materials, where the materials are stored, the nature of the construction activity, and where the construction site is relative to the rest of the airfield, as well as site access. Impacts to airport operations include the inspection schedules and the impacts of construction activities on the wildlife hazards, FOD hazards, and security. Here is a list of issues mentioned in the literature, which include security issues and closures. Some of these issues affect all construction, such as contracting issues, labor issues, and weather. Other topics are unique to airport construction, such as FOD, protection of the operational surface, and protection of workers from jet blast. This slide illustrates data from the Runway Incursion Database, which is published by FAA. This illustrates the impact of construction on runway incursions. The graph on the left illustrates runway incursions during construction, and the graph on the right illustrates all runway incursions. During construction, 46% of runway incursions are related to vehicle and pedestrian deviations, which is almost double the percent during all events. Pilot deviations are about 20% during construction, but represent 60% of all incursions. Operational errors due to air traffic control represent 33% of incursions during construction, about double the percentage during all events. This data suggests that we are doing a good job supporting aeronautical activities during construction, but may need to take a closer look at how we support construction activities, airport operations, and air traffic control during construction. Here is a closer look at the data for runway incursion severity during construction. Most events are severity C or D, so there is no imminent threat. For severity A and B, the most serious incursions, most of the incursions are due to pilot deviations. The runway incursion data suggests that we need to maintain a strong focus on ensuring operational safety for aircraft, but we also need to make sure we are addressing some of the other airfield users and reducing the likelihood of vehicle pedestrian deviations. Strategies include construction limit signs at regular intervals. These signs support situational awareness for construction personnel and airport ops personnel. Low-profile construction barricades provide a visual cue and they ensure the safety for aircraft since they are lower than the aircraft fuselage and wingtips. However, these barricades may not prevent the passage of pedestrians and some vehicles, so maybe we need to give additional thought as to whether other mitigation measures are required near protected surfaces, and carefully consider this risk and other risks associated with airfield construction in the context of human factors. We decided to frame the topic in the context of the human factors areas as defined by FAA. This table illustrates how this framework can be applied. In the left column, you can see FAA human factors areas of environment and workload. In the second column, you can see examples of this for an airfield construction project. And in the next columns at the right, you can see the affected users for each example. For example, for the environment, there are greater risks associated with construction at night, and these negatively affect all users, as indicated by the minus sign next to the example. For workload, there are additional considerations for all users, although the factors affecting workload for different users may vary, as described by the different examples. Examples are also provided for human error, staffing, situational awareness, and workspace. For human error, NOTAMs are issued to raise awareness of construction activity, but the effectiveness of these NOTAMs may be reduced since there are often so many NOTAMs that pilots need to consider. One consideration for staffing is that airfield ops workers typically are required to conduct additional inspections during construction, as well as take on other duties, although usually additional staff is not provided. Situational awareness is enhanced by visual cues provided by signs and barricades, as well as automated runway incursion warning systems. Workspace is an important consideration, especially for construction workers who are working on an active airfield, which presents numerous safety implications, as well as security and operational considerations. The last three human factors areas considered are safety and health, information presentation, and procedures. For these areas, the examples are illustrated as they affect individual categories of users, which illustrates how this method can be tailored to highlight very specific risks, and in the future can be used to map out very specific mitigation strategies. This concludes the primary technical portion of this presentation. Here are the references for our presentation. I invite you to review our paper if you would like more information. Thank you for listening and for your interest in our research.